Hi guys, welcome to another lecture on HTML and CSS. Finally, in this lecture we'll start introducing CSS or cascading style sheets. Now, why do we use CSS on our website? The goal of CSS is to separate a web page style from its structure. So the structure would be created with XHTML and CSS will create the page style, such as colors, font size, effects, type of font, background colors, images, margin, borders, etc. So there's a lot of things you can do with CSS and style with CSS on your web page. And it's way better to organize everything with CSS. It will be very, very simple and easy to control. Okay? So let's start and open our Notepad++. And let's go to index.html and let's create down here, let's delete the pictures and also let's delete this one here and this one here as well. As a matter of fact, let's delete everything we have in the body section. So index.html, now it's clean and we don't have any content at all on our homepage index.html. Let's create an h1 homepage title and save this. Okay. And if you run this in Chrome, this is what you'll get. Okay. Homepage with black color, and the size is defined by the h1 tag. Now we can always change this with simple CSS, and there are three ways you can use CSS. Let's start with the first one. Okay, so I'm going to show you the same example in three different types of CSS you can use. The first one is called internal CSS. So to do that, we need to come down here after the meta tags. Let's type a tag called style, and let's create type attribute equals, and here you have to type text.css. So this is the opening tag for CSS, and the closing tag is only style. Okay, now between these tags we're going to create CSS, is where we can basically style anything on the body section or the web page. Make sure the style tags or the CSS tags are always between the head tags. Okay, now the first thing we need to create is the selector, and in this case we will use the selector as the h1 selector. So let's type h1, and now we type curly braces. The curly braces is where I'm going to define and create attributes and values to style an element. Okay, so let's create an attribute color, and now we type colon, and now let's type green, and you have to end it always with semicolon. Okay, so this is the selector, and the selector has to be something related to a tag on the body section. Okay, h1, and then inside the curly braces you need to type an attribute, which is in this case color, and we'll learn more attributes later on. Okay, don't worry. And then after the colon you type a value. The value is green, so the color green will be applied to this selector, okay, on the web page. So hopefully now we will get everything that is inside the tags h1 will be in green. So homepage will be presented in green in our website. Let me just check that. Let's open it, and there it is. Okay, so this is how we can apply to every single tag or every single element of our website any attribute that we want. Let me just give you another attribute here, which is the type font or the font family. Font family. This symbol here. After the colon, we just type Arial and semicolon. Okay. In order to better organize CSS code, we usually put one property below another. Okay, like this. You just open the curly brace and put here color green, and down here let's put the font family. Let's put the closing curly brace down here, and here you can put also, let's say, font size, which is another attribute or CSS attribute that you can use to style anything on your web page. So font size, let's give it a, by default H1 already gives a font size, but let's give 30 pixel font size. Okay, usually we use pixels to give values of widths, heights, margins. Okay, so you'll get used to pixels, but I will talk more in depth about pixels and other measurements you can use on web pages later on. Okay, let's just run this now in our Chrome, and there it is. We have Arial font family type of font, and let's change this to 50 pixels. Let's see, let's open this, refresh, and as you can see, now we have 50 pixel large size fonts. Okay, let me just give another example here. Let's say we have more H1s. New title, and see what happens. Let's run this, launch it in Chrome, and there it is. Everything that is inside an H1 tag will have these properties that we defined in here. Okay, so what about if I type here H2 and run this? Let me refresh. Okay, it doesn't apply. Why? Well, because it is inside now an H2 tag, and H2 does not have, or it is not mentioned here. If we want to include H2 as a selector to include all these properties and style H2 as well, we just type comma and then H2. So now every single element inside H1s and H2 tags will have these properties. Let me just check that if it works. Okay, and there it is. Perfect. Let's change this to, for example, instead of green, let's type red. There are several colors you can use. The most simple ones are red, yellow, so the basic ones. Okay, we'll learn how to implement colors, and we'll talk more about colors later on as well. Red, let's run this in Chrome, and there it is. Okay, so this is how we use internal CSS. Okay, so we create the CSS code in the same page or in the same code where we have the body section and the XHTML code. Okay, what about if I want to apply the code or style CSS code and properties to every single H1 tags that we have on the other pages? Well, to do that, we need to create an external style sheet or an external CSS file. Now let's create an external CSS file. Let's just copy this code here. Let's copy this, create a new file, paste it here. Okay, and let's save this as style.css. Okay, let's take this out. We will not need this internal CSS code now. In order to apply every single attribute that we create on the style.css file to the elements on a page, we need to link the file style.css to the page itself. So here we must type, after the meta tags, inside the head tags, we type link rel equals, and here you have type style sheet, and then type equals double quotes and type text CSS slash CSS space, and now we type href equals to the name of the file. Okay, so the name of the file to load and apply all the properties of CSS to this page. And there it is. Perfect. Let's save this. Let's run it in Chrome, and there it is. Okay, everything is applied with an external style.css. And let me save this and or copy this and put this in the contact page or in the about page. Okay. So how can I apply now to the about page the same attributes of CSS and style the h1 and h2 tags? It's very easy. If you run this in Chrome, the about page will not have any styling, okay? But to style it, we link the about page to the style.css file. So what we can do is copy this, go to the about.html, and after title, paste it here. Okay, let's save this, and let's run the about.html, and there it is. Okay, so everything is applied now. So every time we have an h1 or h2 tag in about.html or index.html, the style.css will apply them to both of the pages. We can still link also here, or make the link here, contact HTML and admin. So we just need this line here and all pages, and then we can apply and control all the styling through this only file.css. Okay, everything will be styled and applied to every single element that we want. Okay, so let's say we have a paragraph, and we do have paragraphs here. Okay, we have a paragraph here and here, and that's it. And also we have h1s here and here. So if we open this now, this is what you'll get. Okay, so it's applying the code that it's inside style.css to the h1 tags here, and let's change the paragraphs styling. To change it, let's go to CSS, let's type P, which is the selector, and then curly braces, and let's type here, let's type font family Arial, and font size, let's give it 14 pixel. Okay, so every single paragraph now and every single page, or the pages that have the link to the style.css, will have font size 14 pixels and font family Arial. And let's see these paragraphs now. Let's launch this in Chrome. And okay, you don't see it very well, but it has changed. It has changed the paragraphs. Let's just change this a little bit more in style and put here 18 pixel size. Let's go back and refresh, and there it is, a lot bigger. Okay, so this is how you can control and style everything you have on your website. Okay, there's also another way you can create properties or CSS properties, which is called Inline CSS, and you can do it by simply going here. Let's say we have here the paragraph, style equals and double quotes. Now inside style is where you're going to put every single property you want of CSS that you wish to apply to this paragraph here. Okay, so let's give it a color, let's say blue. And remember, you have to type semicolon at the end and colon between the attribute and the value. Save this. Okay, so everything is in blue. Okay, so the priority between external or inline, it's the inline. Okay, the inline will always apply first. This is the priority. Okay, so whatever you type in line as a CSS attribute is the one that will be applied first. So if you take it out, it will return to the style.css. Let's check here. Okay, let's also give it a font size. Let's give it a 40 or no 20 pixel and semicolon. Save this. Let's run it and see the difference. Okay, there it is. Much bigger. We can still do it bigger. Let's type here 30. Save it. Let's return and refresh, and there it is. Okay, so this is all for this lecture, and see you guys in the next lecture where we will learn a lot more stuff on CSS. Okay, bye.